Welcome back to Taboo Talk. Nothing's different. Jose has been replaced with another brown man.
Really, another
Nah,
brown
I'm
man?
sorry, yeah.
Really?
Welcome to the Garage Cast. This
Hey!
is still Taboo Talk. This is Landon Cowie. I'm sure you've heard us talk about him
What's
before.
going on, guys?
He's my head coach. Jose is about to have his wedding this upcoming month. Outside of that, he's also a photographer for a great music venue, as well as working full time. And so we've been trying to get times to set up to film, but just things haven't lined up exactly as we wanted them to. That being said, I thought this would be a great one to come back to because we wanted to address the break. Both
Oh my gosh.
both the break in Taboo Talk filming and also the break in my leg. So I felt it would be great to do this instead of waiting until after the wedding to talk with Landon, because here's the main reason why. For those who don't know, I fought in May for my pro debut. If you didn't know, I slipped and broke my leg in the middle of the second round. It's very stupid. It was a slip. He did nothing to break it. It was dumb. But Landon was the man in my corner watching it happen at eye level. And so I wanted to talk to you about, like, so obviously I knew it was my, let me explain so how everything went for me is, I froze up a bit in the first round, and this guy was really running from me. And then, so what happened is in the middle of the second round, he's running from me, and I'm like, I'm so sick of him fucking running from me. Let me just stretch out a little bit, catch him with my toes on the face, and
He's
just,
really utilized that reach, like how we talked about during the end of the first
yeah.
round.
So he was circling out into his left, like we had seen him do in video before, and I was like, perfect. I'm just gonna throw it up there, tag him on the face, just startle him, and then blitz him. I step on the center logo, I pivot my foot, I throw up the kick. They were spraying anti-COVID spray all over the ring before the fight. And then, of course, he and I had dumped each other both once in the ring. Yeah. I think I had dumped him on the center logo. And it was just so slick that my foot just starts sliding as I'm throwing the kick up. When it hits the canvas again, past the logo, my foot stops, my body comes backwards. Basically what happened is, and if you can even see this on the stream, the scar. So, what happened was my tendon was so strong. Good news about my tendons, which honestly I'd rather break a bone than rip something.
Yeah, exactly.
My tendon was so strong it pulled the ball of my ankle off. Your tibia is your main shin bone. So what happens is the ball of your ankle is what holds your tibia on top of your foot and allows it to be weight bearing. When that happens, when that disconnects, then your bone is shifting so it doesn't know what to do. So essentially my fibula tried to compensate for my weight, which you can see, lovely scar right here. Fibula tried to compensate for my weight, and my fibula shattered into about 6 pieces. So now I've got 2 screws in the ball of my ankle, a plate and 7 screws in my fibula. But so this happens, right? And I hit the ground, and I'm like, wow, I just slipped. And I go to get up, and I pick my foot up off the canvas, and I just feel like my leg would go, and I just sit there, and you just see me slam my hands going around and go, fuck! And everybody's like, what's going on? Because everybody thought I twisted my ankle and that I was fine. And I'm just like, God fucking damn it. And the ref goes, what? And I went, I broke my fucking ankle. Or I broke my fucking leg. And he goes, what? The doctors come in and they're like, what's going on? I was like, I broke my fucking leg. They go, you did what? They grab my heel, pick up my leg, and they go, oh shit, he broke his leg. So we're getting stitched up. Then Landon runs in, and Landon's just like, dude, what the fuck, man? And I was like, I'm fucking sorry, bro. I don't know what's happening. And our buddy Theron was there, and he helped carry me out and shit.
Yeah.
Then I went to the hospital. They filled me full of good drugs. Felt great. X-ray, they gave me my diagnosis, and basically told me it would be about 8 months before I could fight again.
Well, here we are, on the road to recovery.
Well on the road to recovery. It's Landon and I talked about this, and I told him, I was like, look, the one thing that irritated me most about this is, like, when I was in the cage, this is weird to say, but it didn't hurt that bad, even though my bone was moving in my leg.
Right.
I was pissed. I was pissed because I knew what was coming, that, you know me, I would fight every other fucking month if I could. And I knew I'm not going to be able to do that. And literally, I based on the promotion and other things, that I could have fought at least 3 to 4 more times this year.
Well, here's the thing: we've seen that same injury happen before, and it's been career-ending for most of these professional fighters.
And that's the big thing is, luckily, I didn't break the big one in half like McGregor did, which happened 2 weeks after.
Exactly. What a fucking coincidence.
Yeah.
Huh?
But so I've been seeing my orthopedic. All the muscles back in my leg, it was atrophied really bad. We're almost 100%. Like the tendon under my foot's a little tight, but basically my orthopedic told me I'm 6 to 8 weeks ahead of normal people. Yeah. So he literally told me the last time I saw him, he's like, dude, like this is kind of crazy. And I was like, well, I've been doing cryo every day, hyperbaric oxygen chambers, and everything I could possibly get my fucking hands on
to speed this recovery up.
But what I told Landon, I was like, look, if I have to sit, then this is not about recovery. This is about progress. And I think you can attest to that. I mean,
100%.
You saw me the first day you saw me spar. You were like, shit, your movement, cutting angles, everything is a little bit different.
This guy's different. I think something mental clicks when an injury like that happens, especially in the start of it.
And you know what's funny is I had a lot of people be like, one guy asked me, he was like, are you going to be like nervous to break it again when you fight? I was like, no. He goes, why? I was like, he didn't break it.
No.
I was like, it was a stupid circumstance where I slipped and I broke my leg. I was like, if he had checked my kick and my bone had shattered, maybe that's one thing. I was like, but this has lit a fire under my ass in a whole nother way where I'm like, I'm going to make up for lost time. The second I get clear to fight, I'm going to fight every fucking chance I can get.
Exactly.
As long as it makes sense for us.
No, 100%.
But I was like, you know what? I'm going to change up how I do things. I've always been very forward and back oriented whenever I fight, so it's little things that it's just been going back to the basics, working footwork movement as much as I could, and working that footwork and stuff has helped with the recovery of the foot and the ankle. But I was like, I'm working on head movement a lot more, defensive movement, and cutting angles drastically better. And I think you can attest.
100%. Especially, I will say, one of the things that have drastically improved is the footwork. Which is ironic as fuck. Stupid.
Makes no sense. But that's literally all I've been working on.
I mean, I guess that's
in my
what
boxing.
It took.
That's it.
I guess that's what it took, But the progression from when we stepped in that cage to now has been just an absolute game changer.
Exactly. And that was my mindset. I was like, if you know me, you'll hear me say this a lot, in that I don't believe in taking steps backwards. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not going to whine, bitch, and complain about this. I sat around for like 9 days. I was working out in the gym, lifting weights 9 days after the break. Because 4 days after I had surgery, 5 days after that I was in the gym.
We're here.
And I was like,
we're not going backwards.
No. I was like, this is doing nothing but making me want to progress more. So we're in a really good spot. This past Saturday was my first day kicking people with it.
Why don't you tell them how that went?
It went fine. I didn't roundhouse anybody with the leg. I wear 2 different ankle supports on it, and then I wore a shin guard, and I didn't really roundhouse that many people. I threw it up to the head a couple times just to tap, but a lot of teeps, push, and side kicks, and that felt fine. Yeah. So it was a little tight after the fact, but it wasn't terrible.
It looked fine. I mean, after reviewing your videos, the movement was fine. It did not. I couldn't tell that you had broken it.
Yeah.
Even people after a serious injury that goes to like that, even kicking a bag is super, super cautious.
No, and I kicked the shit out of the bag. You saw me do it, yeah.
But not only that, we're taking it up to people's heads.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah.
Right? That says a lot about progression. And not only that, your mental stability going into this recovery process.
Yeah. I'm not scared. It's fixed. Hey, people were sitting there like, oh, well, you've got metal. I'm like, I've got metal in there now. I've got a fucking sledgehammer for a left leg, people. That shit's about to start whizzing at people's fucking heads, son. We're going southpaw, baby.
That's it.
I remember that's what you said to me. You're like, we're going southpaw.
That is what the first thing I fucking said.
I almost wish I had broken it like McGregor so I could have gotten that titanium rod. Dude, I would have loved that. That would be so great. But so before we talk about all the new updates and shit, what was your perspective? So obviously you're in my corner, and whatever about the fight, but when you see me throw that kick and slip and hit the ground, like what goes through your head?
Honestly, I didn't really. get a grasp of what really happened.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, he slipped. Maybe he might have twisted his ankle or something, but I was like, he's fine. We're gonna get right back up.
Pause on that. So nobody, like I said, everybody thought I twisted my ankle. Like the crowd is just like, what the fuck? Oh my, we'll tell the story about my dad in a second. It's hilarious.
Please do.
We could probably go grab Tommy and see if he wants to tell it.
Yes.
We're at my parents' house chilling.
Obviously.
So I'm laying there and the doctors are talking to me, and then I kind of look over and I see everybody's eyes looking at the screen above me, and then all of a sudden I just hear, oh! And I guess they showed it on the replay what happens, and then people understood that. I think because you see in the video, when I lift my leg up, my foot just kind of goes and limps to the side.
It wasn't even that. It was they zoomed in on it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, you could see it. Like you fall, your leg comes up, but then your bottom leg buckles underneath. And that's where people were like, oh!
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the gruesome, people really understood how gruesome it was going on the ground like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, right? I'm not watching behind me. I'm focused on you. I'm trying to stay mentally prepared for this fight, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking you're gonna get up, right? Walk it out, right? We're gonna restart, right? That's what's going through my head. Immediately, whenever you went like this and just said "fuck," I was like, okay, something is wrong. Right?
Clearly,
something is wrong, and he's not moving. And then I tried to go in there.
I know. That was the weird thing is when I watched the video because my brother was filming it on the pay-per-view, and in the video the ref gets me quick and the doctors get to me quick. That felt like such a big gap. It felt like the ref was with me for 5 minutes and then the doctors getting me. It's like a matter of 5 seconds.
No, yeah, exactly.
And then I was like, what the fuck? Why haven't they let Landon in yet?
Exactly.
And then you eventually get to me and you're just like, fucking shit.
So I walk up, expecting to help you out, but then somebody pulls me and is like, hey, you can't go in there yet. And I look back, I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, it's just protocol restriction. I'm like, no, that's bullshit. He's obviously in pain. Like, no, let me go see him.
Yeah.
And then finally they waved me in here, and then I went to you on the ground.
Yeah.
Total in disbelief. I mean, I was still in disbelief.
Yeah. Because first off, worst way ever to have a pro debut to break a fucking bone.
Exactly.
And I think both of you were just like, holy shit. And what was funny is I'm sitting there and I'm just literally looking around and I just remember keep saying fucking stupid. And Thomas, the promoter's in there and he's looking at me and I was like, Thomas, I'm sorry, dude. He goes, how are you awake?
Yeah.
He goes, how are you like not screaming right now? And he was like, when you yelled fuck, I was like, duh. I was like, it's not. I was like, it honestly doesn't hurt that bad. I was like, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm pissed.
That's
it.
And I get it, dude. You'd rather go out on your shield.
Yeah. Like it's. And Joel came up and I took my opponent and I was like, dude, I'm sorry, this isn't the way I wanted to fucking go, and I would love to fight him again one day. But I was like, he was great after the fact. Him and his coach both reached out to me after the fight. They were great about everything. But yeah, man, it was you and Derek got so we go to the hospital. Obviously, during the times we're in, there were only 2 people allowed, so my parents were in there. And then they're like, hey, Landon and Derek are here, so they leave. Landon and Derek come in. And they're talking to me, and this nurse walks in. She goes, I don't know how you 2 got in here, but he's only allowed 2 people at a time. I was like, oh, we weren't explaining that. We thought it was like 2 people at a time, not 24 hours. And she was like, and it's only family. I was like, well, they're my brothers. And she kind of looks at me, and then she looks at his brown ass and Derek's black ass, and she goes, that being said, and I was like, can I just have a few more minutes? And she was like, okay, that's fine, honey. She was very nice, to be fair. She was very nice, and she let him stay with me for a few more minutes, and then, y'all were great. Everybody came and hung out with me for the next few days when I was doped up. Which
How high were you?
And here's the thing, man, and this is a kind of a fucked up thing. So obviously, those first few days, my mindset was fucked. It wasn't until like after the surgery, got the little bastard. It wasn't until after the surgery that my mindset switched to I'm focusing on the progression. One thing that I've really told nobody, and I'm okay with telling it here, dude, I was hooked on those painkillers.
Really?
Yeah, I was taking them when I didn't need them. Because it felt so good in the after effect that I didn't refill the bottle. I used the bottle I originally got, and that's it. But I was like, if I get another bottle of this and tell him yes,
this isn't gonna go.
I'm fucked.
Right.
And I 100% get opioid shit now, dude. Because when I was the last time I had any kind of hydrocodones or anything was when I was 15 and broke my arm. So I don't really remember it.
Yeah.
And my mom had control over all my pills
100%.
and stuff. So I think she gave them to me for like 3 days and that was it.
Wow.
But dude, I was popping them like, I think I had like 60 and I took all 60. I was probably popping, for the first few days, I was popping 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening. But that was because I kind of needed it. Because let me explain something. Whenever they put me in a boot, which I've been blessed that I've never had to be in a legit cast. Right. Because I would lose my shit. I'm too claustrophobic for that. But I was wrapped up in this thing. But anytime I would pick up my leg in the night or anything, you would just feel... And I was like... Ooh, fuck. Oh my god, we'll talk about surgery too. So I meet with this doctor who does a lot of the Texas Rangers. He does all of UTA's athletes. He does all of UTD's athletes. The guy's super fucking professional. He's in, he's out, cool. That's it. He doesn't really bullshit or anything like that, but he was cool. And this guy was like, he was telling me after the fact, he was like, yeah, it's supposed to be an hour and a half surgery I did in 30 minutes. I was like, what? But he showed me the x-ray, cleanest x-ray I've ever seen. Like, super well done.
Oh, the before and after.
Is nuts.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But
I didn't believe that was your leg. Like, I didn't believe that, like, he drilled 2 screws and put a rod in there, and it looked like that.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, no way.
It looked perfect. Because, you'll see some other people's think that it all looks fucked up. His was so clean, like, everything was lined. It looked fake almost, like, how well he, like, screwed everything together. But I remember I was sitting in the hospital bed, and I'm one of those crazy people that I would always like to see, like, a video or something like that. So my anesthesiologist comes in, he was like, hi, I'm Mike, I'm your anesthesiologist. I was like, cool, man. And I was like, he goes, yeah, how you doing? And how'd you break it? I was like, well, I'm a professional Muay Thai fighter, and I broke it. And then he was like, oh, shit. And I was like, yeah, I kind of want to watch. And he goes, ooh, I can stick you with an epidural. And I was like, oh, no! I was like, knock me out. I was like, dude, can you film it or something? I was like, no, knock my ass out. I'm not watching someone juice power drills on me in there. And I've seen surgery videos. They just look like mechanics. Like, they're not gentle. But I remember... people with my natural hair color, which is this color, fun fact, we take anesthesia. We require more, apparently. And I thought this was fake. They literally were telling me that. That's a real thing. Yeah. And we have higher pain tolerance. But I remember usually they've told me anytime I've had surgery before they hit me with the anesthesia. And so I'm sitting there and I look over and he's sticking a 5-inch fucking needle in the top of my thigh. And I went, holy shit, that's a big needle. And he goes, oh, you're awake? And then I'm out. Immediately after says I'm out. But they used it to numb my leg. Dude, that shit was amazing. I didn't feel my leg for 36 hours after the fact. And let me tell you this, if you ever break your fucking leg from lower leg, get a scooter. That is the best shit. I don't care how many people make fun of me, how many times Jose took, they see me rolling, how many videos he took like that of me. It's the most convenient shit ever. Yeah. So we'll talk about the funny shit with Tommy. Oh, God. So, first off, I'll say this to any person who ever watches any combat sport. If you don't have the balls to sign the dotted line, don't say shit. Don't ever call somebody a coward. Don't say shit, because we sign up to get locked in a cage and someone else to try to take our consciousness from us. Yeah, absolutely. So I slip and break my leg. I think they really couldn't tell what happened, but my dad runs up to the side of the cage because he's trying to get in, but they're not going to let him in.
Of course.
Landon was right outside. And apparently some big old fat fuck apparently was under his breath going, pussy. And my dad goes, excuse me? And so apparently there's video from XKO's pay-per-view of Tommy just doing this in the dude's face, just has his finger like 2 inches from his face. And he's like, where are y'all taking him? Yeah. Just keeping his face. Like, his finger right there. I get a lot of my hard ass from Tommy. That's fucking awesome. But he's like, let's go outside. Yeah, let's go outside. What you talking about, fat boy? Let's go outside. Yeah. Tommy's the shit. And Derek was apparently like, Mr. St. John, we gotta go. Come on. Mr. St. John, we can't be doing this.
Fight in a fight.
Yeah. But while we were there, you and I happened to make, of course, because that's the people we are, we happened to make friends backstage. Luckily, some of the guys from McSweeney were there. Yeah. But then we met.
Yeah, no, we actually, talked to a couple of Miss Sweeney's guys
Yeah.
before. Did we do any training with them? We warmed up. We did.
We warmed up with some warm up with them. I've gone up there and trained with them at McSweeney.
So talk about the experience backstage, like the fight, pre-hand, everything leading up to it.
I'll say this. I hated the COVID shit.
Yeah, 100%.
I wish I could have stayed. I wish I could have slept in my own bed. I wish I could have done, like, it is what it is, but, like, we're locked in the hotel room. Backstage, it was so nuts because we were supposed to be the second fight on the main card. We wound up being the co-main event.
Weird.
That day. Apparently one of the guys in the main event, they went to drug test him and he was like, yo, I smoked hella weed the other day and it's legal in Colorado where I'm from. And so he got booted off the card. So our friend Jose, not Jose, but other.
What was interesting is he blatantly came out and said that.
Before they even piss test him, he was like, I'm just gonna be honest, like, I smoked a lot of fucking weed.
Right.
And they're just like, oh, you, and his opponent was pissed.
Yeah, I mean, shit.
To be fair, his opponent would have gotten his ass kicked. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, like, things kept moving around, and we're just, you know, we're confined back there. Normally, you could show up, like, we could have showed up 3 fights into the card.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And got backstage and started warming up and shit, and that's what I would have preferred. Honestly, like, legitimately, I was really considering working that morning and then go, but we had to do that. But other than that, it was pretty cool. The organization was pretty solid. Besides shit moving around, and, like, the problem was, I'm in boxing gloves and Muay Thai, and we weren't in MMA gloves.
Dude.
And we put our tape on an hour too early, so I'm just sitting in boxing gloves for an hour because things kept changing.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh shit, it was super fucking frustrating, and we couldn't pull it off because the commission had already signed off on the wrapping and the tape. So that was super fucking annoying. But other than that, it was great, and we got to meet Jose. God, I can't say Jose's last name. Montaneo?
Scarface.
Scarface. There we go. And then Robert Vistacion. That.
Shout out to VFit.
House of Champions.
So,
fun fact: we met these 2 guys backstage. He was also fighting Muay Thai. Jose was, and they came up. This is how we met. And this one was funny. Robert, his coach, was already watching how Landon was coaching me. He was like, I like the way you're showing him that heel hook.
Yeah.
And they come up to me and they're like, okay, so we're really kind of low on gloves. So after your fight, we need you to give your gloves up because he's going to be wearing your gloves. And Jose's like, what the fuck am I supposed to warm up in? And I was like, hey, man, I've got some 12 ouncers if you want to warm up in those. Because we're fighting in 10-ounce gloves, so if you're wearing 16s to warm up, it's such a difference. You need to get used to the speed.
Yeah, exactly. It's just unrealistic.
Yeah.
You know, especially going before warming up and fighting. The difference people don't understand in
you'll overthrow shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll overthrow shit.
Well, because you'll underestimate the weight of your glove, basically.
Which is something I noticed in that we can do going forward. Of like, instead of we trained in 12s like the last week, when doing like 3 or 4 weeks of that,
right?
Or at least switching between both. But so I give them my 12-ounce gloves, and we start bullshitting back and forth. And we're like, "Where are y'all from?" And they're like, "Oh, we're from VFit House of Champions." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And then Robert and Jose both reached out to me after the fight. Once again,
super cool.
Everybody was super nice. All these people who talk about fighters being hostile and shit, fuck
that's
you.
A bunch of
Coming actually to the community, there's 0.01% of us are fucking assholes. Everybody else is the nicest people you'll ever meet. I can't. If you've seen my videos on Instagram of us me sparring, we're laughing while we're sparring.
Oh,
like,
100%. Yeah,
it's lighthearted. We're not violent people. It's just this is how we compete. Other people play football. Other people play ping pong. We fucking fight. But so we reached out to them. And we were like, hey, let's go check it out. And Landon and I have been going there for like 3 weeks now. And
yeah, they've been nothing but great to us.
Yeah.
I love their gym, their atmosphere.
Super respectable too.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, even their fighters, they have multiple professionals there that have big opportunities.
We have Jose who fights in Lion Fight. We have Victor who fights in UFC. He just got signed to the Contender Series. And then our buddy Alejandro, who I did not expect to see there that day, who he's going to be making his comeback because peer pressure. Because I was talking shit and he came in to help me train for my last fight. And he was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go back to it. I'm like, yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. You just had to switch up the specifics.
Yeah.
So I'm actually glad that he stopped training MMA and just focused strengthening on Muay Thai. This guy's stand up is
good.
Is so good.
So good.
It's next level compared to. But you got to understand where he's coming from. Fortis, man, that's such a huge gym.
Solid gym.
There's so much competition there.
Yeah.
And the amount of energy and impact on your body is just huge.
Yeah.
So imagine doing that and trying to work a full-time job at the same time and putting all this stress on your body. So taking half of that aspect, right, the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, all the ground cage work, and just cutting that off, right?
Yeah.
So sticking to fundamentals in Muay Thai, it's just easier on your body, right? It's something that you can maintain and, you know, do your daily life basics, right? Moving forward. So I'm happy that he's.
I'm happy he is too, and hopefully we get his back issues figured out. We're gonna teach him stuff around recovery, but it's great. I have a lot of good partners. The thing is, we were doing nomad shit for a year and a half,
dude.
To where we were bouncing around from anywhere we could get to train, and we were having to search and find sparring partners for shit, for me and shit, besides you and Derek,
right?
Which, I mean, y'all are some of the best sparring partners I've ever had, so whatever. But find people my size and they're strictly Muay Thai and stuff. And,
it was a battle. Well, especially training
and people who would commit to actually show up.
Yeah, exactly. That was our biggest thing.
Because we were like, hey, we're gonna be at this LA Fitness, or we're gonna be at this gym, or we're gonna be at this gym, and
I mean, people, especially in the MMA or fighting community, it's just so sporadic. It's mainly an egotistical thing too. People that do fight don't want to actually see you as competition or think that they're going to be helping you out in some sort of way.
Yeah.
It's really, really an ego thing, but honestly, I like the way that we trained. I like the way that we did our camps, me, you, and Derek. I think
and that's the thing is, when we say this, so House of Champions will be my camp going forward. That being said, he's still my head coach, Derek's still my boxing coach, and then Robert is going to help me out too, and then we're going to have a place where we can train an entire team there, and things are in the works. But Landon, Derek, and I may be teaching some fitness stuff over there.
Come check us out.
We'll announce that when it's final, but we're working on some stuff. Yeah. Like I said, I think the biggest thing that you and I have appreciated is the respect you and I get there of our. And this sounds egotistical, but it's like. It's people not going, oh, who are you? We don't know you. It's like, no, they know who we are, and they know what our talent levels are, and so we're appreciated there. And they're like, no, y'all are valuable here, and yada yada. And so that's been nice experiencing that. But yeah, nothing's gonna change.
Which honestly is super hard to find out.
It's tough.
Like you can't just walk into an MMA gym and be like, hey, will you accept me and help me train? I'm looking to be a professional fighter.
Yeah.
Most of the time, then they're gonna throw you to the dogs.
Yeah,
and okay.
Well, that was my experience when I was 19.
Yeah, well, I mean,
at a certain camp.
Let's not go into any names.
But that was my experience when I was like 19, and it's different. I'll tell this to any amateur fighter or anyone who wants to go pro: sign the dotted line, do it. I mean, I've had a lot of people that have been like, oh, well, my coach doesn't think this. It's sign a lot of dotted line, do it, prove yourself.
Right.
And then let's say you go and have an amateur fight and you fucking win. It's like, okay, then what are they going to tell you? Oh, you need to wait another year before an amateur fight? They're going to be like, no, because you proved yourself. If you feel confident that you can do it, sign up and do it. If you get your ass kicked, evaluate what happened and learn from it. Don't be egotistical. Don't be prideful. Pride's the fucking devil, man. And if you want to do it, sign on the dotted line, do it. Organizations will accept you to do that. But heavily evaluate and understand where the fuck you're at.
Right.
And if this is something you can truly do. If you do some smokers, you're doing great, and you feel like a coaching staff is holding you back, either change the coaching staff or sign the fucking line, show up there, bring some of your training partners for your corner, and fight.
100%.
And prove yourself.
100%.
It is what it is.
Look, at the end of the day, there's just no perfect formula, right?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a perfect training camp. There's no such thing as a perfect management, perfect people. I mean, this community that we have here, that you surround yourself with, is ultimately, it's either going to get you there or it's not.
Yeah.
Right? You yourself is going to be your own determining factor. Right?
Yeah.
Are you going to put in the work? Are you actually going to show up, and are you actually going to sign your name on the dotted line?
Yeah.
That's all. That's what it's going to come down to in the long run. It doesn't matter You know, what gym you go up to, what can they provide you with?
Yeah.
Right? Because you got to think, right? These gyms it's a team effort, right? They're not just going to focus their energy on this newbie that just wants to fight professionally.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, everybody wants to fight professionally, but I've been training on and off for 7 years now. I asked you, I was like, are we ready? And you said yes. And so we had this fucking accident happen. It is what it is. But it's, you know, I felt confident, you felt confident, and so we went forward with it. And
we pulled the trigger. We signed the dotted line.
Yeah. And it's, you know, it is what it is. Man, I see so many guys that feel like they're getting held back, and it's like, change the gyms then. Fucking sign up for a fight. Prove yourself. Find somebody like when I
mean, it's not. It's just do it.
Yeah,
just do. Like, there's so many promotions out there that want new fighters that are looking for new upcoming new talent. I mean, fuck it. So what? We got to drive to Oklahoma. So what? We got to drive to Louisiana. Dude, call me, call Travis. We're there.
Right? we have promoters' information. We can put you through to people. Like,
exactly.
Organization I fought for, XKO, they're constantly looking for amateur talent. Sign up and fucking do it. Sign up and do it. Yes. Even if it's a one-time thing for you, whatever it needs to be, sign up and do it. Some people want to do experiences. Some people like me want to do it for a living. I mean, I want to travel the world and fight. That's what I want to do. Yeah. But it's realizing what your motivation is, why you want to do it. I have loved fighting my entire life. I was around the wrong people and doing the wrong things that I took 4 years off from full-time fight training and focused on bodybuilding and all this shit. And I do like it got me to where I'm at a natural weight, but it also taught me a lot about the human body. It taught me a lot about my own strength and what I'm capable of and stuff like that. And it's helped me in a lot of ways. Of course, I wish I would have been doing it the entire time, but it is what it is. We're focusing on going forward and not mistakes or whatever that have happened in the past.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so I mean, we've had a lot of big ups out of this where we found a camp. We're in a good spot. We're back training. The goal is to fight. I mean, depending on how the leg goes, the latest would be February or March. The earliest we could possibly fight January. But it's just, I'm going to talk to a doctor before as early. Like, I got cleared for March, February. That's what I was told. But if I can fight in January, fucking great. That's fantastic. And ideally, it's whenever a doctor's telling me, like, yeah, you can fight in January, it's like, okay, cool. I'm going to actively, like, be treating it just because I don't want another situation like this where we had a 4-week camp and that was it. And I had to cut 20 pounds in 4 weeks.
That was...
And I did.
Yeah, you did. I mean, perfectly.
Yeah. But obviously it's like I would like a little bit more. I'd like to be closer to weight because I don't like cutting a ton of water and stuff like that. But also we're going to try to fight. I mean, for XKO, we'll fight at whatever weight they ask me to. Anywhere between like 190 to 205. But getting signed up with like Lion Fight or 1FC or something like that, I would have to fight, in my opinion, and what I would like to fight, I would be cruiserweight, which is 190. I haven't been under 200 pounds in years. But I'm fully confident we can make that weight, and that's the goal to do. But yeah, I mean, the recovery process has been great. We're doing good. It's just, I'd say we're at like 90% of healing on everything. There's just some minor tweaks, some minor stiffness and stuff, and that's it. But moving fine on it, improving drastically, and it's I mean, I'm full on. I'm dedicated with this shit. This is not going to deter me. I actually had a couple people be like, "Are you going to fight again?" I was like, "Really?
Are you serious?
Like, do you know me?"
Let's.
No, let me just take a professional fight, break my leg, and then never fight again.
Call it quits.
Fuck that.
And honestly, there are some cases that people do that.
Yeah,
but that's not us. That's not.
But you know me. Yeah.
Well, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is I've had that same question probably just as much as you have had.
People asking you if I was going to fight again?
No, 100%, right? Because they come to me, right, for everything, how, you know, from camp related to fights to, I mean, any updates, right? I mean, did you have your phone on you during the fight? I don't know if I told you not to or you didn't look at it or whatever.
No, I had a few calls, but I stopped touching it probably like 2 hours before. Probably going forward, it's the 24 hours before I would just give it to you.
Yeah. I think that's the smartest
and
thing.
let you handle stuff like that, just because it's getting focused on stuff, and I had a bunch of people wanting to call me and be like, "Hey,
Yeah,
good luck tonight, I'm proud of you," and all this stuff. And it's like that. I appreciate it, but it's like, tell me after, or tell me like a couple days before. Like that's what I appreciate it. The amount of people that be like, "Oh, I wanted to make it to your fight, but I'm glad I didn't," and I'm like, "I'm glad you did too."
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to see that shit.
No.
Nobody wanted to see me snap my shit.
But you had so much support and love.
Yeah,
from everybody.
it was great, man.
Yeah,
I had a lot of people turn out to it. It meant a lot to me. A lot of people buying the pay-per-view to watch and shit like that. And
but going back, yeah, I was getting that question asked like probably for a couple, like 2 weeks straight.
Yeah.
Like, after that happened, and I know that it was rough, right? Just the mental state that you were in after the fact was it was terrible. But one thing that I did tell them, I was like, there's no fucking way. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna let this guy quit.
Yeah.
Like just like that. Not as an egotistic thing for me, but as a human being and as a friend, as a brother, man, that has faith in you and that sees the potential that you're bringing to not only the fighting industry, but to your community. Yeah. Right? You're a trainer at Hidden Gym, and the amount of years of practitioner that we have not only demonstrated, all these personal trainers, all of our clientele, right? They look up to you in a certain way, right? So going into that fight, you had a lot of eyes on you, right? And even though you didn't feel the pressure, it was there. Yeah. So with that being said, there was no fucking way that I was just gonna let you hang up the gloves.
Well, and it's people who really know me and people who also really knew me as a fighter. That question never got asked. So like the main things, like you and Derek, I mean, the fucking in the hospital, you're like, we're gonna recover, we're gonna get back, and we're gonna get it back at it. That was it. Jose, when he called me, he was like, "When do you think about fighting again?" And I was like, "Fuck it, the second I can." But big shout out. I just realized I was wearing a Hidden Gym shirt to Tony Mack. I'm literally getting chills because he sent me the most perfect text message, and he texted me the next morning. He goes, "Shit happens. Get better, come back." That was it. That's all he said.
That's all you needed to hear. That's all you needed to hear.
Yeah, and it's from real fighters that have done it and have done it professionally, and that know me. They knew where my mindset was not. Yeah. That my mindset was, I'm pissed that I have to take time off.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I was pissed
100%,
about.
100%. And same here with me and Derek's situation as well. Honestly. Dude, I was very devastated. I didn't really show or even tell you guys this. I didn't really even tell anybody that. But I mean, I took it very hard.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, and it wasn't because of the loss. It wasn't because of.
Oh yeah, for those of you who don't know, it is a loss on my record.
Which is
it is considered. It is. It's a TKO loss because I got injured during the fight. So it is what it is.
But after the fight and going up to the hospital. Dude, I really wasn't sure where my mental state was. It wasn't like, oh shit, is he okay? It was like, damn, like this just happened. Like how is he gonna cope? How's his family gonna cope with it? Yeah. Like everything else, like going forward. And so I don't know. I was really down. I was really down, and I know Derek was too. Just the amount of volume and the preparation. Like people don't understand. Like an actual professional fight camp can be anywhere from 3 to 4 to 6 months leading up to a huge event. Yeah. And the amount of time, volume. I mean, right? We're spending time away from work, spending time away from our family, our friends.
I had to tell a lot of people, I was like, hey, you're not going to see me for the next 4 weeks.
Exactly.
And like, if you see me once, it is what it is. And I had some people get upset with me, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but this is fight camp.
This is my
career. This is what I want to do. Yeah, 100%. And like, this is not like, this is what I eventually. Hey, when I can start doing this full time, that's gonna be different. Then I can start seeing more people. But in the meantime, I work and this is what a lot of people don't realize, and this is why I don't like hearing an excuse from people. I work a 40+ hour a week job. I also teach boxing classes at Hidden Gym, 4:30, 5:30, 6:30 on Wednesday evenings. I still occasionally do PTs and stuff. I find my fucking time to train. I make sure I make time to do everything, to do my diet properly. I didn't fuck up once in my diet. That was a entire 4 weeks. I cut the weight. I only had to cut 4 pounds of water. The morning up, I weighed 209 pounds. Cut 4 pounds of water that morning, in the sauna.
That was it.
Pulled up and we wait.
We cut off an extra pound just.
Yeah,
to be,
I didn't even mean to, but it was
It is what it is.
It was complicated because in most cases it's you'd cut the water, go walk into weigh in, but we had to cut the water, show up at the hotel, quarantine in the hotel, wait a few hours, and then get into the. And I was like, I'm not chancing anything like a pound not coming off my body,
Right,
so I made sure I weighed 204.5, and then we weighed in at 203.5. So.
No, which was great, dude. That took really. I mean, that was it. Went to the sauna.
Yeah.
Like what, 15
couple
minutes?
times a week. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. So it was never anything crazy. It wasn't hard. I mean, that's the great thing about bodybuilding is I've never had any issue dieting and stuff like that. And guys in my weight class are fat as fuck because they don't know how to diet and they'll cut a shitload of water. I do not believe in cutting that much water. Any fighter I've ever coached through, James De Herrera, when I was coaching him for boxing on his diet, I told him, I was like, I'm not letting you cut more than 8 pounds of water. And he was like, wow. I was like, you've got body fat on you, dude. I can pull that off you. I was like, I pull it off, so you have to cut below no pounds of water. Every fighter I've done their diet for them, immediately after the fight, they're like, this is the best I've ever felt in a fight. I'm like, yeah, because I didn't have you cut 20 pounds of fucking water.
Exactly.
You're cutting all this water and shit, and it's not good for you. It's not good for your brain stem. It's not good for your brain.
Right.
This isn't smart for you to be doing that. But yeah, so that's where we're at. That's how things are going, and we'll see you guys next time. And Landon's gonna be on more because we love the guy.
Peace.